So while this wasn't the best snow day ever, it was a good day to get out and just try to shoot, get used to my camera a little more, and try to capture at least a little bit of the essence of the snow, and that's exactly what my uncle and I did. Now, I was supposed to be shooting a business for a project that I was working on, but from lack of communication and things, it just didn't work out, so I had to kind of improvise to work on a project in a different way, and I thought, well, since this is probably going to be one of the last snows of the season, let's go out and try to capture whatever we can. So this was more of just like a fun day of shooting, trying to capture something, just trying to keep myself nimble with taking pictures, and I was very pleased with some of the stuff that came out. Now, these probably aren't going to be portfolio pieces, but if anything, they'll make some good blog posts and some content for Instagram. And one thing you have to remember with snow photography is you want to always overexpose your image by at least one stop, sometimes two, because your camera is always going to see the snow as 18% gray. So it's going to try to balance everything out. And if you expose for your scene properly and not the snow, sometimes the snow can come out too dark. You don't want that because the snow's full white. So always overexpose about a stop or two from what your camera tells you, which is why you should always be in manual. So for me personally, I'm really enjoying this format of video, and I hope you guys do too. I think this is kind of the direction that I want to go. I've been looking for a direction that kind of suits me more, because just straight up vlogging, having to carry the camera around, photograph all the cool B-roll, and then photograph myself and changing the settings and taking pictures too, it's really difficult, and for me at least, it's really discouraging to do all that because there's just so much effort that has to go into something that could be simplified. I like the KISS kind of way of doing things, keep it simple, stupid. So with the GoPro attached to my chest, I can record all the video and even have pretty decent conversation. The microphone's really not that bad. And I can also just concentrate on photography. And I feel like for me, when I'm trying to record these YouTube videos and I have something in mind to record and I'm also trying to take photos, a lot of times one of the two tends to suffer, because if I'm putting so much emphasis on my video, I don't think so much about my photos and vice versa. So I feel like this is going to be a nice balanced way so I can really concentrate on my photography as well as be able to capture how I'm doing it. And I feel like I can be more engaged with you when you're watching my videos. Now, this is kind of like a learning experience for me. I've got some ideas what's going to make it better. I know this footage isn't the best in the world because I don't have one of the newer GoPros with that internal stabilization. But I am looking to buy a GoPro Hero 8 if this kind of series starts to work and you guys like it. So be sure to let me know that in the comments if you think this is a cool way to kind of showcase this content. That's right, way too. Bright, the sun's coming out again. Three stops too much. I guess also the style of YouTube videos that I've been watching recently have been a lot different. I have, of course, been watching a lot of gaming videos because there's a game I like to play a lot called Apex Legends. But as far as like the photo community, my kind of interest has started to change. Like I'm really tired of the standard B-roll stuff that everybody's been doing. Like, don't get me wrong, it looks great. It takes a lot of skill and practice, but I feel like it's just really oversaturated and we need like more content that's a little bit different. So I've been watching people like Nick Carver and James Popsys, I believe is how you say his name. But both of them record things a lot differently. And I'm sure a lot of you that in the photo community have heard of like Evan Ranft and people like that. And I just really like the style that they kind of utilize when they're creating their stuff. See, it doesn't always have to be this really flashy video and all these like banger photos, and I don't know, I guess a lot of that stuff has kind of almost become triggers to me. Like I'm tired of using like all the crazy EDM music, and in a lot of cases some of the guys I watch when they create these videos, they're not even using a lot of music. And for one, that would save me like 15 bucks a month from not being, subscribed to a music service. But I kind of like hearing the natural sounds of what's going on around these people and just hearing general conversation. At least that's just my opinion. Maybe you are a little bit different than that. And I guess my main focus for 2020 is to try to get out and shoot more. I feel like that's one thing that in the past, at least last year, I really suffered from, was not getting out and exploring quite enough. And when I did go out and explore and try to share these different places over the past few years, I don't feel like I shared them to the best of my capabilities. And that's because there's just so much to see. And with having like a constant video rolling at all times, I don't have to worry about getting the right shot or capturing the right thing, and I can focus on photography. Now that's not to say I'm going to be doing these point of view style videos all the time, but when I want to promote an emphasis on what I'm shooting, this is how I feel like is the best way to do that, because then I don't have to use my personal camera as both my recording for video as well as photo, and I can just concentrate solely on taking the best imagery possible. Now, one thing I want to note to you is that I don't typically shoot my photos the way you're seeing here. There will, of course, be times where I'll be using a tripod and things like that. Today, again, was just a test to kind of see how things work. Most of the time when I'm taking photos, I like to look through the viewfinder. I rarely like to use the LCD screen, but to kind of give you a perspective of how I'm shooting and kind of what the scene looks like, how I like frame it up and line everything up, it just works a lot better to do it this way. I think it makes more sense. So that is one thing. It's just a personal preference. I don't really like to look through the LCD screens. And I guess my main takeaway today is to get out and shoot more. Take more photos, make more videos, be creative. Feel free to experiment with things and do what feels right to you. I feel like all of us, myself included, just spend so much time watching in so many YouTube videos and soaking in all these tutorials and learning all this stuff, but never actually practicing it and applying it to our own work, if that makes any sense. So I guess my main promotion, even though it's probably bad to say for the channel, is stop watching all these videos and start going out and replicating these things and doing it for yourself. Because, the more I watch of a certain person or a certain thing, the more I try to accent that. And whether I know it off the top of my head or if I am just subconsciously doing it, I feel like I'm just cloning everyone else out there. But when you actually start getting out and shooting for yourself and doing your own things, I feel like that's when your true creativity starts to shine and you start losing a little bit of influence from other people, and then maybe you become the influencer. So just get out there, make some awesome photos, make some awesome YouTube videos or whatever, your particular thing is, and just enjoy the journey. But that's pretty much all I wanted to come out with today in today's video. I know I'm probably just mumbling and not making much sense, but this is exciting. This is new. We're learning something new together, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you did, a like rating is greatly appreciated. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. And as always, be sure to create something new today.